North Carolina voters, we all head to the ballot box in just 6 days. The North Carolina primary is on Tuesday, May the 17th. Now, besides the candidates, Guilford County voters have two big things to vote on. Guilford County Schools is asking for voters to approve a $1.7 billion bond to make upgrades and improvements to schools across the district. And to help cover those costs, there's also a fraction of a penny tax increase. To explain why they think the bond should pass and to answer your questions about it, we have Angie Henry, the Chief Financial Officer from Guilford County Schools, Skip Alston, Guilford County Board of Commissioners Chair, Deborah Hooper, the Chief Operating Officer from the Greensboro Chamber of Commerce, and Paul Lessard, President of the High Point Community Foundation. So maybe you at home, you have some concerns. You want to know some more details about this. Well, this is the time for you to ask your questions to our experts. Our guests are with us for the next 15 minutes. Here's how you get your question to them. You text us that question. The number is 336-379-5775. Your text questions are anonymous, but you get your answer right in real time. All right, so first and foremost, thank you all of you for joining us. Angie, let's first and foremost go over what does the bond cover? What will that money be used for?
Sure, thank you for that question. So the $1.7 billion will cover the construction, full renovation or rebuild of 34 schools. And these 34 schools were identified based on an independent study that was done in 2019 that rated more than half of our schools as unsatisfactory as far as school condition and facility condition. The $1.7 billion will also include safety and technology upgrades in every school, along with some very much needed HVAC repairs, roof repair and replacement, and other kinds of maintenance that we need to do on our buildings.
Okay, and let's go to you, Skip, because I know you've walked through many of those schools to assess for yourself what the conditions look like. And I know after you tell me a little bit about that, I also want you to talk to me about the tax, because people are wondering, what is this tax and how is it really going to affect my bottom line?
Well, Tanya, I've been through a lot of the schools over the past 6 months. And I hate to say it, but our schools are in horrible shape. We have an animal shelter that we just built that's in better condition than 90% of our schools. It's unfair for us to have our teachers to have to teach under those conditions, our students to have to learn under those conditions, leaking roofs, electrical problems, air conditioning don't work in the summer and the springtime. The heating system don't work in the wintertime. It's horrible. This is a time that we need to all come together and talk about and do something about our schools. If we don't do it now, Lord help us from what's going to happen in the future.
I know a lot of people. Oh, go ahead, Paul. Were you going to add something?
Skip, I was just going to add, I agree with what Skip has said. And, you know, if we want a world-class community, if we want to have a community we can be proud of, we've got to do better than we're doing. You know, I come from a family where all three of my siblings were first-generation college graduates. You know, we went to great schools growing up through the military. I'm a Marine Corps brat, but I've been in these schools. I've taught in these schools. I did my student teaching at Central High School. And what Skip's saying is absolutely true. You go into these schools and you just want to cry. And our teachers deserve better. And our kids deserve better. If you want a world-class school system, it's got to look like one.
All right, and so we know that we have to spend money to make that happen if the bond is going to be passed or if that fraction of a penny is going to be passed. I want to put up the graphic that shows you what the tax will be on and what it won't be on so that you're very clear on this. The tax will not be on gas. They will not be on prescription drugs when you go to the drugstore. They will not be on groceries, and they will not be on buying any kind of new car or anything like that. So the tax will not be on those key items, and we want you to know about that. When we look at this bond, and we look at schools, and we look at our area, Deborah, maybe you can talk about this, about how when people come to this area, one of the top 3 things they look at for any area that they're looking at relocating is schools.
You are so right, Tanya. We know, because we're an economic development organization, that one of the questions that we are asked by the companies that are looking to relocate to our community is what are the schools like? That's one of the first things that they want to know. And it's because they are thinking about, their workforce, their employees, and what that's going to mean for them and their families. And so it is a top concern for them. We also know that the schools are producing their future talent and workforce. And so they want to make certain that the students are in a safe environment with the tools and just everything that they need so that they get the quality education and with the knowledge and the skills and, upon graduation that makes them eligible for their next step in their career. They can be career ready, they can choose to go on to school, but that they absolutely are on the right pathway toward a bright future.
All right. So
I can also tell you too that the economic impact of a $1.7 billion bond has an amazing impact on our community and local economy from the standpoint that it would add almost 20,000 jobs. And that in and of itself is an amazing economic impact. And that's based on research done at NC State University. So
okay, so we are looking at this bond, and though it is for schools, we are looking at it at the big picture as well at the county and at the city level. And so what we want to do is we want to hear from you. What are your questions about this bond? Because you are going to be going to the polls in less than a week and voting yes or no on these bonds. So what do you want to know? You can text your question. We'll be right back.